for Pound ATL.
What's up, Pound ATL? It's your boy Jimbo D, aka Jimbo Slack, aka Jimmy O'Bone. Remember, you can call me any one of those you want. Please me, don't call me New Orleans Saints. My boy Big Mike over there at ATL. What's going on, big dog?
Man, what's going on? What's going on, ATL? Hey, we live. Listen. I'm with my guys, our guys, and y'all know our guys. So like us, we got Toby, we got JR, we got Big Jumbo, we got myself, we got training camp, we got a lot to talk about. I can't even go into words of how excited I am to be able to talk about, like I said, these birds, man. So like I said, man, hey man, another week to get looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Apologize about that guy that spoiled us, man. So it's a little different tonight. But we're going to get through it. Y'all stick with us. We're going to tough it out, man. We're going to get talking about the Falcon football in a minute.
Okay. Still no. How about this? Is it any better?
Stop it and start it after. See if that fixes the problem.
All right. Let me see if I can halt this stream. Oh, somebody says that's better.
Yeah, that's better all of a sudden.
Okay. All right. Let's go with that and see
If
we can get this going. See if we can have a decent chat. All right. See, look, I appreciate y'all hanging with us. We just trying to get this stuff going. As I've always said, I am not a technical marvel, but we're gonna see how it works.
Hey, Jimmy, say something, man. Say something right quick.
Okay, yeah, I'm up for the building, baby. Ready to talk these dirty birds.
All right, let's see here. Seems like I'm getting some echo when Jimmy talks. That's interesting. Boy, this is gonna make for fun. All right, we're just gonna have to push through it and bear with it, and hopefully y'all can. If I have to, I'll mute back and forth with Jimmy and Mike. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Anyway, all right, so let's just jump into it, folks. I mean, we have camp, like big time camp. It's actual working. As far as we put on pads today, we've had some videos that have come out. Man, thankfully enough, the Atlanta Falcons, like their media team, has done a real good job of putting out videos of what's going on the field, because normally we get to at least see, some live practice, but obviously with everything going on, there is no live practice this year, at least for us. Like, we can't go watch it. So just early on, Toby D, what are some of your early thoughts that what you've seen so far?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, number 17, Olamide Zaccheaus. He's been in all the clips that we've seen so far. And him and Matt Ryan have really been connecting and showing how much they're connecting with each other as far as the offseason goes and going into camp. So I'm definitely excited about what he can bring to the table for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, I got you. Now, yeah, Damontae Kazee, he has showed out quite well in camp so far. But let's just go ahead and hit some of the hot button topic. Everybody, I'm pretty sure saw that real nice, beautiful interception by A.J. Terrell. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about that real quick.
I'll tell you what. I'll kick it up there. And couple things that stick out to me about and his interception. Look, Falcons fans, I can't tell you the last time I saw a cornerback flex after he caught an interception. Be honest with you, I don't know how that looked to you guys, but I love to see his swagger from day one. I think he is coming in as advertised. I think that, hey, draft experts, they do their best to try to get a draft grade right. But again, I was a little skeptical when I saw the interception. I'll be honest with you, because I was like, okay, that's a great play in training camp. But I think everything we have heard about A.J. Terrell, be it from the coaches, be it from his fellow players, be it from even the offense, he's coming in as expected. And I think if A.J. Terrell can be, as I said, at a bare minimum, if A.J. Terrell can come in and be our cornerback too, I think, that gives some stabilization to our secondary, because there was another guy in training camp today, Denard, which we'll touch on a little bit later. I think, hey, at the end of the day, those could be our two outside corners as well. And I would love that pairing of, honestly, a Denard who's a veteran with ball skills. And I think that immediately makes our secondary better than it was last year. So I love to see it out of Rook. I hope it continues. I hope he stays healthy. And I'm looking forward to seeing, I'm looking forward to seeing his continued growth.
So we got to get you on in here, man, so we can see what's going on, man.
I like competition, and the vibe that I'm getting out of this Atlanta Falcons camp is, and that's the vibe I'm getting. I wanted to get. I think Dan the coach, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that we finna compete day in and day out. At the end of the day, if you want the job, you got to come get it. Now, that A.J. Terrell and Calvin Ridley, I think that's going to be an interesting, very, very interesting competitive thing going on throughout training camp. I think it's going to be good because it's actually going to A.J. Terrell a chance to set the bar, the bars at. CB1 practice do help CB1. Like my brother Allen Iverson said, that practice, man. Not no game. But I'm ready to see how he's gonna come out. Good with Dan Quinn.
No, yeah, I agree completely. Jimmy, it seems like we're still having some volume issues with you. I got you turned up as much as I can. I don't know if you have some issues going on with your mic. I got you muted right now, so go ahead and see if you can fix it. But now, I will say this, though. As far as A.J. Terrell goes, that swagger is something I will never be mad at. I will never be upset that somebody's coming in, especially a defensive player, especially a cornerback. I need them to have that swagger because they're going to have plenty enough plays where they get burnt, they get whatever, but I need them to have that confidence where they could continue to come back and attack it again and again. That's what I'm really looking for myself as far as what I want out of my first round pick, and having him, snag that interception. Some people wanted to critique the, potential route by Ridley or the throw by Ryan. Look, it's a short clip, which I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't play that clip right now for the folks who haven't seen it as of yet. Let's see here, and it should be. All right, and okay, should be playing. It's a pretty short clip. There's nothing, major about this as far as the way he's playing, or what you can really see. And you don't see a ton in that clip about what the route is. So anything at that junction really is just speculation to what is being thrown, what is being ran or whatever. But I like the fact that he has the confidence to go up and attack it. That's the part that I am ultimately encouraged about, is that, you know, early on in camp, he's having the confidence to go up and attack Calvin Ridley the way he did, use his size and length against Ridley. And that was encouraging. And then day 2, come back and have that pass deflection against Julio Jones. Or at least, I think it was the second day video anyway. It may have been from the first day. I'm not 100% sure. But I like the fact that he was not shying away from Julio Jones at all. Not starstruck, so to speak. And those, like, going up against those guys day in and day out of practice are what's going to make him better. I mean, that's what made Trufant better. That's what made Alford better, you know. So I'm excited to see how he turns out, you know, playing against Julio Jones day in and day out. Then you got to see a little bit of a get back from Calvin today when they were in pads. Calvin ran a real good route and left A.J. Terrell behind him. So, you know, it's good to see that, you know, he is taking his lumps as well.
Right.
So, I'll say this from what I saw, just by the bit I saw. You know, a lot of this stuff, these guys are practicing against routes that they saw last year. Bleedy Ray Wilson saw that same fly route against Perryman against the Tampa Bay Bucks, and he played like a press bell type look, what you see A.J. Terrell playing. Clearly because A.J. Terrell gives Calvin Ridley time enough to catch up with him, because that obviously shows he has some space in between him and Calvin Ridley to, you know, match up with his speed. Where you saw him play Calvin and the quarterback, look in on the quarterback, see where the ball was going, and he was able to get up and catch it. You saw Bleedy Ray Wilson almost get an interception off of that same press bell look off of Perryman. If it hadn't been for Perryman knocking that ball out, it would have been an interception by Bleedy Ray Wilson. The other route that you see was the breaking in route that A.J. Terrell was able to knock down. And you see that route all the time against Bleedy Ray Wilson. Once again, the reason why I use Bleedy Ray Wilson, because Bleedy Ray had done a good job against both that fly route and the in route. You go back and you look at the game against San Francisco 49ers, where he was able to knock a ball down, almost intercepted that ball on the end route and jumping the ball as well. So it's going to be similar routes that you're going to see, that you want to see A.J. Terrell be able to defend, because those routes are what you're going to see against the scheme that we play.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I think with A.J. Terrell, I'm glad you brought up that clip of Calvin Ridley, because I think, you know, I don't want Atlanta to get super hype about A.J. Terrell and create unrealistic expectations for the kid, right? Because let's be honest, he's still a kid, he's still a rookie, and rookies are going to take their lumps. I don't care who you are. Even the best rookie cornerbacks take their lumps. I mean, hell, if you really look at Charles Woodson's rookie year, he made a lot of plays, but he also got burnt a lot. And again, he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? So I think the thing about A.J. Terrell is for him to continue to grow. But again, I'm encouraged by Joe Witt Jr. because his growth, his development, it has Joe Witt Jr. written all over it. Because here's the thing, right? As I said, you know, on our show last week, this particular offseason has given coaches a lot of time to work with these guys on their one-on-one techniques. You can go over a lot of film. It's very virtual. You can go over the playbook. You can call a lot easier. You can, you know, again, a lot of the knowledge was kind of disseminated and broke upon, you know, in these Zoom meetings, right? So it's like, what it appears to me is A.J. Terrell has picked up the playbook. A.J. Terrell looks very comfortable. A.J. Terrell looks like, hey, if you give me just a little bit more time and allow me to play with swagger, because one thing that I noticed about him in the NFL that I didn't really notice at Clemson, didn't really jump off the tape for me, is how much of a swagger he does play with, you know, because he's really a quiet guy. He don't really say a lot. He just go about his business and play. But what I like is that I like that he goes up against the best and he wants to let the best know, hey, I'm here. Kind of like another guy, Marlon Davidson. These are guys that, like, you know, they let the best know that, hey, we're here now. We're here. So don't forget about us. And I'm going to tell you something, too, real quick on Marlon Davidson. He said something, Deidre Schnott. This might be a warning to you, Deidre Schnott. Marlon Davidson said, "Hey, I'm a rookie. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn from Grady Jarrett. I'm here to learn from these guys, right?" But what he also said was, "Hey, if I see an older guy not doing something the right way or not in line, I will communicate and correct them as well." That to me says not only do we have a rookie, but we got a leader. We got a leader in training. You know, you can see him as a hungry apprentice wanting to be the guy. Eventually, soon, a guy like that will eventually be the lead dog. You just see it from the jump. So I like the rookies that we have because, again, every year we don't necessarily have rookies that come in and are dominant. I think we've been waiting for these kind of guys, to be honest with you. So very encouraging so far, especially from the rookies. But again, like I said, it's the first day of pads, and you know, we got almost a month. We got basically just about a month before we kick off. So like I said, just continue to grow, continue to learn from your coaches, be coachable, stay humble, don't get and don't react too much when you do get beat, because it can. I mean, come on.
You're right.
AJ Terrell gets the most invaluable experience right now, and that is guarding Calvin Ridley, guarding Julio Jones. Come on, guys. I mean, Olamides the kids. I mean, Treadwell, Blake. I mean, hey, like I said, don't forget about the undrafted free agents, the McCleskys and the Jawan Greens. These guys, everybody looks like they're ready. They're in shape and they're ready to roll, man. So you're looking good.
Jimmy, how you sounding over there?
I'm sounding good right now?
I think so. You sound,
yes, sir.
Sound much better. Okay.
Yeah, we hear you now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
Hey, man, ain't that slick to a can of oil, baby. I get it, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just some
Y'all
technical
stick
issues,
with us
that's
now.
all. We'll get it all straightened
y'all
out.
stick with us.
I
mean, what you were saying, JR?
Well, I was going to see if I was going to get your thoughts. Your partner there laid out a real good line on Terrell and all those guys, but I want to get your thoughts on KZ starting at free safety as camp has started out, because that's something that caught me as being very interesting with having him starting at free safety over Ricardo Allen. What do you think about that?
I mean, I cannot wait to see a Rico RA-37, Rico Allen, hanging out in the secondary with a Denard. Oh Lord, I can't wait to see them on the field at the same time. I cannot wait to see what we got. We got the enforcer, the Deuce, Mr. Boom himself, on the field at the same time with a Denard and a Rico Allen. I cannot wait to see it. But what I know is that KZ is a ball hawk. The man came out the womb getting turnovers. Now you gotta love to have that type of guy on your team, right? So I think what Dan Quinn is trying to do, I think Dan Quinn and Raheem Morris want to have a turnover guy. That's your man. And we want to have that muscle, right? That strength, that guy that's gonna knock your teeth out your mouth. Okay, that's the Deuce. That's the enforcer. We know who Keanu Neal is. Mr. Keanu Neal, shout out. And then we're gonna have the brains, right? We're gonna have Rico Allen, roaming around. So you got turnovers, you got brains, and you got muscle. And I'm loving the way Dan Quinn trying to use that, and he got to utilize all of it. This is the year to try to utilize all of it, JR.
I agree completely. I mean, this is the year to roll out that big nickel, like full on. This is your year.
Yep.
You got J.J. Wilcox. You got Jamal Carter. I mean, you got safeties upon safeties. You got a safety depth that I don't think we've had since. Dan Quinn's been here for sure. And I know that he had to have it because he saw his main lead dog go down 2 years in a row, and Keanu Neal. So you had to bring in, you got Anthony Wright over here talking about Jalen Hawkins as a strong safety. Because somebody else asked if he was a free safety or strong. He was definitely brought in to be a strong. And I'm sorry, at this junction, you got to have insurance for Keanu Neal. Until he can put together another full 16-game season, you just can't count on it. I mean, I hate to be that way, but it just is what it is. But, I mean, right now, that big nickel package is something that looks like is going to be a mainstay for this offense, which I am glad to see. I think that's something.
But okay. So one more thing, and I think looking at one of the fans, they posed this question about, what do you think about Kazee in a contract year? And I think what we're noticing, hey, if you look at the depth chart right now, what Raheem Morris is saying right now is, as of right now, I like Damontae Kazee a little bit more than I like Ricardo Allen. So when we talk about big nickel, you know, we talk about dime, we talk about all of that kind of stuff, right? One, we have the personnel for it, first and foremost, because we have our iteration, and I use the word iteration, ATL. We have our iteration of Earl Thomas, right? Ball hawking guy, you know, who can play center field, right? And you know where I like Rico Allen at the most? I like him at honestly playing a little bit of nickel, because let's be honest, guys, those guys that know Rico Allen, he came into the league as a cornerback. Right. And I really think Rico is really tough when he's covering. I think having Rico Allen playing on the line with his knowledge, with KZ, with, like I said, with Neal. Again, somebody talked about Deone Bucannon. Oh, my gosh, let's spend some time on him, because I really am interested in how we're going to just use him as a Swiss Army knife on this defense, because there are two, and gosh, Deone Bucannon and Michael Walker, those are two Swiss Army knives that, you know, like I said, we can touch on those guys a little bit later, but I think, you know, specifically to KZ, I think what they're saying is, hey, KZ, this is a contract year for you. We think you're the better player. Now is the year that we show the rest of the NFL. Exactly, because ultimately, kudos to the coaching staff, because, again, they want to get the man paid, and I think he deserves to get paid. Either we pay him or somebody else, but this is a year for him that he wants to get paid. He knows this is a contract year, and he knows what's expected of him. So I look for Damontae Kazee to take his game to the next level, which will be scary for a lot of quarterbacks in the NFC South. Don't matter if you're Tom Brady. Don't matter if you're that guy from that other city that we don't mention. Or don't matter which one. No,
for sure. Like let's jump into chat. We haven't been able to really hit chat here because of some technical difficulties. So I'm going to jump into chat. So give me 2 seconds here. All right, let's see. I'm going to scroll up here. I'm going to get past all the you guys are having sound issues, which, hey, I appreciate y'all letting us know that, because without y'all, we wouldn't know that, you know. We'll get it figured out. All right, Charlton Nash says, can we talk about the future of the safety position with Kazee and Neal in contract years? I think we were just touching on that, so we got that one covered. Let's see. Somebody says... Somebody's talking about the stuff he says to himself. I'm talking about can't keep Terrell down. No, you can't. Yeah, can't keep him down at all. Anthony Wright says the main and most important thing is that the coaching staff and training staff monitor our players closely and pace them, because you heard it in the news yesterday. Our players are dropping like flies. Yeah, we are having some injuries across the league. Thankfully enough, maybe the injury bug will skip over us this year. All right, so we did have somebody. Oh, here we go. Says, what's up, fellas? I really enjoy watching you guys and love the content. Much respect from Michigan, but don't call me New Orleans Saints fan. See, I told you, Jimmy. They love that stuff, man. Saw somebody. Oh, here we go. We had a guy coming in, dropping a line all the way from Canada, Montreal, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
So that is pretty slick. Canada. All right, let's see.
Hey man, hold on. And hey, shout out to the fan of Canada. Can you listen? Inbox mail me some poutine. I've been craving some poutine.
Oh man, my man over here asking for poutine.
If you want to mail some,
I don't think it'd be as good by the time it gets there.
Right, because I'm hungry right now. Out to Canada. Keep tuning in, man. Keep tuning in, please.
That's all.
Well, before I say that, let me say this. I got to give a shout out to Unintentional Grounder, Lieutenant Dan, and Cookie by Nature. The reason why is because they did a little research. They said they noticed that the Falcons were in a big nickel when A.J. Terrell got that interception. So I just want to throw that out there, which is a true indication that we're going to be heavily relying on that big nickel. So I got to give credit where credit is due, because they put that out there on Twitter. So shout out to them guys. Now let's talk about Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry. Well, you know they've been putting in a lot of work. We've been watching them clips, working with one of our former guards that was with the Atlanta Falcons back in the day. And I believe we did a video about this, JR. You talked about the O-line, and the title was Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry need to really show up and show out in their second year to really help this offensive line to do the things they need to do. Particularly that run game is where I want to see Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry just dog some guys and open up lanes for our four horsemen running backs that we got led by Todd Gurley. That's what I really want to see. But I hate to bring this news out to some of the Falcons fans. Hayden Hurst did once again do what Calvin Ridley said when Dirk Cutter got there, and he said it's a pass-heavy offense. I know some of you crying right now because I just said that. But one thing about Dirk, if the run is working, he will stick to running the ball. But the thing is, if it's not working, he will get away from it. But they have to improve. What I want to see is the run game, and I think Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom will be key components on that right side for Todd Gurley to wear some guys out, following behind those two guys at that right guard, at that left right guard and right tackle spot. That's what I see.
I agree, and I'm glad that you brought up Hayden Hurst because it seems like I think it was Kelsey. The beat reporter, the in-house beat reporter, she was saying that it already seemed like that Matt Ryan and Hayden Hurst were already syncing up, and it looked like they were already in good rhythm. Somebody posed a question on Twitter about, do you think in a few years we're going to look back and say that it was Matt Ryan who made Austin Hooper? I know that person tagged a lot of us in that, and right, Jimmy, look like you pointing at us. So I'm going to go ahead and let you handle that one. I want to know what are your thoughts about your boy Austin Hooper down there?
Oh, in the last show I said that. I said once on Christmas Day, once he get his he need to send Matt Ryan a check. Yeah. He owed Matt Ryan some money, and Matt Ryan ready to collect. Now I ain't got nothing against Hoop Dad. I liked him. He was really good now, but man, Matt Ryan dropped some dimes to him, baby. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Last show on Pound ATL, I spoke about Matt Ryan making them look good. That's right. But anyway, roll on with it, JL.
No, I agree. I think to the gentleman's point on Twitter, I think that you can make an argument that Matt Ryan made Austin Hooper. You can also make that same argument that Matt Ryan made Harry Douglas and a handful of other guys. But with that being said, I don't know. I got nothing but love for Hoop. I got nothing but love.
He got paid.
So I got nothing but love for Hoop and all those guys. I mean, I'm glad he got paid. But yeah, he does need to send a Christmas card to Ryan, that's for sure. The chat is bringing up Matt Hennessy and Gano. Anybody want to talk about that?
Yes. I don't chat.
Hey, jump on it, Toby, because
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I've been beating the drum for Matt Hennessy, okay? Because we know he nasty. We know he can bring it, even though he was bringing it as a center. You know what I'm saying? He can still bring it as a guard. Now, here's what I think my theory on that is. The Falcons will always set guys in place that you have to beat if you want the position. Right. And I think because Gano shined better than James Carpenter and Jamon Brown, he has earned the right, okay, to be the man you got to beat if you want to hit. You know what I'm saying? So I think Gano could hold on to that left guard position, though, because he played so well down the stretch along with Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry. I just forgot about him. I'm going to be honest, y'all, because we got so many guys on that offensive line right now that he slipped by. And that's basically what I got to say for that.
Mike, what you got?
I disagree with it. I disagree with all three.
Oh, no. All three of us.
I think I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Let's be honest. Falcons Nation, pound for pound ATL. Please don't listen. Tell it in the comments. Matt Gano is all training camp team. We get excited about Matt Gano every year. Oh, Matt Gano is at first. Listen, listen, you don't get on. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. You don't get paid by how well you did at practice. Matter of fact, if you do great at practice, you become a practice squad player. But when you do good in the games, which again, James Carpenter is done, Jamon Brown is done. We think that Matt Hennessy can do. I'm more apt to trust the guys that have the greatest ability to get it done. Now, don't get me wrong. What it tells me is, hey, Matt Gano is in shape. Matt Gano does what the coaching staff ask him to do. Matt Gano, to be honest with you, first guy I can think of is rather Kamal Ishmaelish. Like, at the end of the day, he does exactly what the coaches ask him to do. He understands what he needs to do. He's not going to make a lot of bad mistakes, but at the end of the day, it's not optimal if Matt Gano is our left guard, to be honest with you, because we don't really know what to expect, to be honest with you, out of a Matt Gano, because we had this same type of hype last year with Caleb McGarrett, at the right tackle position. Now, what I do love is the versatility, but I think at the end of the day, now, kudos to Matt Gano stepping up, but what that tells me is he knows the playbook a little bit better than Matt Hennessy right now. He knows the playbook a little bit better than Justin McCray right now, and I will pump the brakes before I say that Matt Gano is going to be our guy. Now, I ultimately think, and hey, call me a cynic just because, I've really researched this guy in the offseason, but I really think Matt Hennessy is going to be our guy. I think he's going to be sound. I think this is a little bit of smoke and mirrors to get people hyped up, but I think, first game, first snap, I think Matt Hennessy is going to be our guy.
Okay, so you
That's
think
just
Hennessy will be?
Well, let me say this.
Let
me say this. I actually agree with what you said. Now, I didn't say Matt Gano was going to be the starting guy. I just said Matt Gano is the guy that the Falcons are putting in place. You got to beat if you want a position. So if Hennessy outshines Gano once he gets the playbook down, he got a real good shot at getting the starting role, but he's going to have to beat Matt Gano. Now, where I do disagree with you at is Matt Gano did put some good stuff on film last year down the stretch. Now, he got plenty of film tape that you can go look at to see what he did on that left side, because Jamar was penalty ridden. I mean, he was getting penalties like it was nobody.
He was a machine.
And James Carpenter couldn't stay here.
Yeah.
So that left Matt Gano a huge chance to shine, and I think the Falcons are going off that based on what he's put on film to make him that guy and get him the right. Now, if Hennessy takes over the spot, he has definitely earned it from Matt Gano, but you got to have somebody in place that you can measure against for Hennessy to truly take that position.
No, yeah, I agree. And
the
chat.
Agree.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Hold on. And one more thing on it. And I think it's great that, here's the thing. We're not talking about James Carpenter. I think we're talking about Matt Gano and Matt Hennessy right now, and we're not talking about James Carpenter. That means this is a great conversation right now. I'm glad that we're actually having this conversation right now. Solidifies everything, then hey, that's great. That's great.
So be it, right?
You're absolutely right. Good point.
Yes,
good point.
Jimmy, is there anything you want to add to
that? I just want you to repeat that. JR, repeat what that record was with Lindstrom in there started. What was that record?
4 wins, 1 loss. It was 4-1.
Okay, I love that. Carry on, JR. I love that. Go ahead. That's all I need.
Now, I think Lindstrom does a real good job of solidifying the right side of that line. His technique.
That's all I need.
His sound play does a real good job of solidifying that line. All right, I'm going to run through some chat again for just a few comments. So here we go. Says Christopher Perkins says Matt Gano could be a starting left guard, and if Hennessy became a backup left guard, then Carpenter could get cut. That's kind of what you were talking about a second ago, Mike. If we ain't talking about Carpenter, we're doing pretty good then. So he echoes your sentiment there.
Right.
Wound Carter says once the run game gets serious, Matty Ice will go off with that play action pass. And that is definitely something that could, if we can get that run game going, if there's even a threat to that run game, that play action pass could definitely take off, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit. Charleston Nash says, what historical defenses use big nickel, and what are the advantages of big nickel over the past systems? I can't give you any historical defenses as far as that goes, not without doing a couple hours worth of research. But I will say this, what big nickel does provide you, at least this year in our scheme, it gets the most experience on the field in the back end. We have a lot of young guys and guys who haven't shown very well, Isaiah Oliver, as far as the secondary is concerned. So if you're getting Neal, Kazee, and Allen out on the field, you're getting a lot of experience right there. and a lot of turnover experience, which is something that Joe Witt Jr. preaches. So that's something to keep in mind there. Let's see.
Now, I will
Go
say
ahead.
this. I will say this. If I'm not mistaken, the San Francisco 49ers used a lot of big nickel in 2011.
Okay.
And they wore out these finesse offenses, i.e. the New Orleans Saints in that playoff game. You go back and watch that game in 2011. I mean, they dominated it to the fact that they knocked what's the name out the game.
Right. Alex Smith.
The short running back. No, not the running back that they signed. Sproles. They knocked Sproles out of the game. Okay, and they took Jimmy Graham out of the game.
Right.
They was knocking 5 with that big nickel. So I think the Falcons, they want to show a dominance, a physical nature, and I think that big nickel definitely will do it if guys can
for
stay
sure.
there.
I mean, because you have the physical presence of Keanu Neal with the ball hawking of Kazee paired with the smarts of Allen. I'm not against it. I'm really not.
And let's not forget, there's so much you can do with that big nickel because you can move Kazee in the cornerback spot, Allen in the cornerback
Neal
spot.
at linebacker.
You can move guys around. So you can really do some stuff with that
exactly.
thing,
You can mix up quite a bit. Speed
Yes.
Falcon for life. What's up, Speed? He's over asking, what do we think about our special teams play? Does anybody want to jump in on special teams play? Throw your hand up so I can unmute you. All right.
I got you. Our special teams. So I think first and foremost, special teams will be a strength this year. And special teams is something that I'll talk about kind of in reverse a little bit, right? Like usually you want to talk about, the kick return or punt return. But again, that's just, that's the flashy part of special teams. But what I'm really excited about is 2 things, right? It's the Falcons' depth, right? Because we have a lot of players that will be, I think, not stars. I won't say stars on special teams, but will be really efficient on special teams. And I think that's where you see your Jalen Hawkins. I think that's where you see your Michael Walkers. I think that's where you see your Leroy Reynolds. I think, those type of guys are going to be your core special teams guys. And I think you actually have a lot of guys on special teams who can come in, fill in a pinch. Again, Edmund Robinson.
Guys
those
we
type
even
of guys
talked
are going to
about
be those are going to be your special team guys. And I think Ben Kawika, if you look at his track record in the league, special teams have always gotten progressively better. And at the end of the day, we don't talk a lot about special teams, but Ben K is a we talk about coaches that are underrated. Ben K is a underrated coach who plays a critical role in the game because hey, y'all want to talk special teams? If you really want to talk special teams, let's talk about the punter that he got from Syracuse. Let's talk about Hofrichter because nobody talks about Hofrichter. But hey, at the end of the day, punting, getting, with Matt Bosher gone, because, we've been spoiled in Atlanta. We've had a punter for 10 forever, right? And we had a great punter. And that punter he's done a fantastic job of nailing teams within their 20. Now, here's a stat. Hofrichter, I believe, was in the top 5 in the country in punts inside of the 20-yard line, right? So it is important to understand that, hey, they got rid of Ryan L. They saw Hofrichter kick a couple times and said, Ryan L, we'll see you later. There's not a battle here.
Now, something that has popped up in the chat a couple times now, and I want to get y'all's opinion. And we're playing the mute-unmute game, so if you got a thought on this, kind of give me a little so I can unmute you. But the thought that keeps popping up is, do we think that they'll move Keanu Neal to linebacker? And so I want to know, does anybody got a thought on that? Anybody? No? All right, we'll give Jimmy a go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's really not a discussion here, what we're talking about here. He's a secondary guy. He played in Dan Quinn's system in Florida as a secondary guy. Went to the Super Bowl with him as a secondary guy. Brought in a Michael Walker, brought in a Deion Buchanan. And I ain't trying to be blunt, and I ain't trying to be rude.
I agree completely.
But no, I don't think so.
I agree completely on that. I think that he will play some snaps at linebacker in this big nickel to cause confusion.
Maybe,
but I don't think that he will be converted to a full-on linebacker.
No.
I completely and utterly agree with you there, Jim. Well, okay, I got you, Mike. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why we got a Deion Buchanan, right? So if you look at it, right, you put a Keanu Neal, you put him at linebacker, right? What separates him from a Deion Buchanan. Again, don't get me wrong. Hey, Deion, and at the end of the day, you might want to look at what type of strong safety Deion Buchanan was before they moved to the linebacker. He hit
Right.
just like Keanu Neal, right? You know, and I'm not saying he's the hammer, but I think at the end of the day, it defeats the purpose of why we got a Deion Buchanan, because Deion Buchanan is a pinch, but ultimately that's what we got him for, and we got enough linebackers in. And from what it looks like, from the jump of Michael Walker, we may have enough linebacker depth. Keep that in house and let Jeff Ulbrich do what he has to do with those guys.
Yeah, you speak about linebacker depth, and I'm gonna keep you unmuted for a second, Mike, just in case you want to throw something else in there. You speak about linebacker depth. That was one of the biggest concerns I had going into this offseason, was our linebacker depth, especially when got rid of, let go, didn't resign, however you want to phrase it, didn't resign Devondre Campbell. I was a lot higher on Devondre Campbell than a lot of people were, just because of what he brought to the table in his versatility. You know, he was not necessarily the best at any one thing, but you could line him up at, you know, and go after running backs and tight ends, or send them off the corner and blitz. I really enjoyed his versatility, and I was really worried that we were going to be missing that. But when you drafted Mikael Walker, however y'all say his name, I'm bad with names, y'all know that. But when you drafted Walker, I instantly saw a replacement for Devondre Campbell, especially when I went back and watched him, because he is a very versatile. He's played at safety, he's played at linebacker, he played at some corner. I mean, he played all over Fresno State's defense. And so you have him playing that role, and with Foye Oluokun stepping up and being the running mate of Deion Jones, I really think that our linebacker depth is much better than I thought when we were going into the offseason.
And you know what? Let's touch on him for a second, because I'm glad you brought up linebacker depth, because here's the thing. One thing I like about Michael Walker that I think he'll be a little bit more physical than Devondre Campbell in this area is possibly blitzing from the inside. Because if you look at Michael Walker kind of played that Joker role at Fresno State.
Yep.
He rushed the passer. He played a little bit of safety. To your point, he played inside. He rushed he rushed the passer a lot from the inside as well too. So I think, and let's be honest with you. Let's talk body type a little bit, because you got a Devondre Campbell. We know Devondre Campbell was a good linebacker, but to be honest with you, Devondre Campbell was a little bit more of a speed, kind of little bit lankier. You know what I mean? Than a Michael Walker. But Michael Walker is built like a tank. Michael Walker. And one thing I love about Michael Walker, when you look at his tape, right? Every time he hits somebody, they stop. You know what I mean?
Oh, you get me excited over here,
But that's
when we started laying that wood on the guys, just got it. Really some Steve style, boy.
Yes, sir. Listen. Hey, last thing I tell you is this. One thing I'll tell you this. We finally have a defense that's fast and physical. Now, here's the thing. We might have some players that are fast, but we also got some players that are physical too. So we are truly fast and physical, because we got fast players, we got physical players, and we got them mixed in together. And like I said, I expect some good stuff out of this doggone defense.
Good deal.
Hey, player. So we call that fast and physical mixed together.
Fastical. No, look, you gonna make Mike spit on this. Don't do that to him. But all right, so you talk about fastical, and what about the quote coming out with you hit on earlier, Mike, about Marlon Davidson. Now, Toby, I'm gonna leave you unmuted because I want your thoughts on this if you got any. But you have Marlon Davidson playing at 294. He's already been seen mainly playing at right inside defensive tackle. Now, do you think that 294 is going to be, too light? I mean, he played mainly at Clemson around 310. Is that going to be? I mean, Dan Quinn loves messing with somebody's weight all the time. What they done to poor Tack in the sense up down up down up down. So, anyway, what are your thoughts on Marlon Davidson as far as his playing weight, and do you think that's going to be an issue for him?
No and no.
No and no. I got you.
No and no. He's got straight up great athleticism. coming out of college, man. And I think he's going to be able to carry the weight that he has well. I don't think it's too light at all because you got to look at Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett ain't 300 pounds.
And this system don't call for a 300 plus pound
right.
Defensive tackle. And you already have that in a sense. And what is Tyler Davidson? What is his playing weight? Isn't he closer to 300 pounds? Isn't he your essential run stopper? That's what we got him here for. To my knowledge. So he's the closest that we have to an atypical nose tackle, in that middle clogging lane type deal. But I do like the fact that they are wanting to play him at a little bit lighter weight because I think that you're going to try to, use his versatility as it stands as well. Gentlemen, on my Mike or Jimmy, either one of y'all want to touch in on that?
Davidson home, bro. So
okay, yeah. I remember we used to put Crawford at DT last year, and he was too light. I kind of felt sorry for him sometimes.
I wasn't a big fan of that.
And the way DQ messed around with Dontari Poe weight, he like you said, JR, he like the up down.
Well,
he
likes to keep people on a scale, don't he?
On the scale, but at the end of the day, if they can, like he said today in one of his interviews, if he can move fast at a certain speed, that's kind of the weight we want them to be at. And I can see why they kind of want Marlon Davidson at 296, 295, no bigger than that. And Marlon Davidson is about in that 295. I think Tyler is about 299 right at 300. Right. And Dan Quinn don't like that 300 number for some reason. He think they can move fast. But I used to feel sorry for Crawford when we
I didn't like him at DT. I don't think he. I don't think he gave the interior push like what he wanted or what we were looking for. Mike, you got anything you want to add on that?
Oh, I got two things I want to add on Marlon Davidson. Marlon Davidson has that what I like to call high, and that's actually a Dan Quinn word. That's a new Dan Quinn acronym. He said his high index is up there, and you say what is high? High is a hunger index. They say Marlon Davidson is hungry to play. Remember what I said earlier in this video? He called out a guy. He called out a vet. Last time, man, I can't tell you too many rookie defensive tackles that come in and call out vets. Your technique ain't right. I mean, one, he wants to win. I mean, two, like I said, he not coming here to sit on the sideline. He's not coming here to learn and be one of the guys. He's coming here to make an impact from day one.
That's right.
Now, let me tell you something about Marlon Davidson that I absolutely love is that, you know what I call today with these pads and all this flanking going on? I call it Marlon Davidson Day. You want to know why? Because listen, man, Marlon Davidson he's never going to make the all Zoom team. He's never going to he's never going to win through Zoom. Marlon Davidson wins when these pads get to clinking and everybody gets to rolling. So, and if you ask him in his interview, that's how he was just, man, happy to be in shoulder pads. And I think, man, listen, you need guys like that. And like I said, he said, I look at Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett comes to work every day, laser focused. I got to work on what I got to work on. And I think at the end of the day, that's a guy when you get in the foxhole, you can count on. Again, I'm looking forward to see Marlon Davidson continue to grow. I don't even want to put a ceiling on him because I think he's as good as he wants to be honest with you. I think the last thing I'll say on Marlon Davidson is you will immediately see him stabilize the run game. And again, add some pass rushing in as well. I think he will immediately be good against the run just because, like I said, he's a hungry, nasty guy. And, just like I said, again, for the fifth time, glad he's a dirty bird.
There you go.
That's all I got.
Now, the chat has brought up more than once that, as we all know, whether we like it or not, it's an election year. And election years tend to equal Matt Ryan going off. He tends to have extremely good years on an election year. We also looking at it being year 2 of Dirk Cutter. We've had some sound bites from him. It seems like they're still trying to stick with the facade of, him using the system, the Falcon system, the leftover of the Shanahan system. But, Toby, you got any, what's your feelings? You think that we're going to see, I don't really think that the offense was all that.
Toby.
I don't think the offense was all that horrible other than the run game, obviously, but that's Dirk Cutter. So, I mean, what are you expecting from this offense this year?
Dirk gonna have to show me. It's like, what's his name? What's his name? Mark McGuire, Jerry McGuire.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. And until he showing the money that he's going to be a straight up outside zone running team, I'm not buying it.
I'm with you.
Because in that Air Coryell, it is a power run offense. Okay, that's what they do best. Yes, I do believe that he will mix in some outside zone, especially to that right side with Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry there. But I'm not buying them being a total focused outside zone running team like Alex Mack wants to be. Now, if he does that, hey, make me eat some crow on that. I'll be glad.
Who was it that was showing us some crow recipes when it was talking about AJ?
Yes.
I'll gladly. When he said something about boiling with some rocks and throwing away the bird and eating the rocks. If that's what it takes, I'll eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know,
but I'm not buying that, man. I mean, until I see it, I am not buying it.
Right. I agree completely. All right, let's see. We're going to jump back into the chat here real quick. Again, if the chat says something that y'all want to touch on, just throw me a little hand sign and we'll take a stop there. Anthony Wright, I got you. Let's see. All right. Okay. Well, Anthony Wright said Devondre Campbell was good against the run and rushing the passer. It was his lack of pass coverage that wasn't good. Was that what you wanted to touch on there, Mike?
Actually, no. And
was it a different one?
No, because I was looking at one that I wanted to touch on. And
go ahead. Yeah, read it out.
I want to give a shout out to Anthony Wright because, like I said, Anthony Wright always commented every week.
He's diehard, yo.
And I love his commentary, and I want him to keep rolling. Exactly. But I think, like I said, he touched on something that I think we kind of were glazing over a little bit, but we got to make sure we give him his time because he talked that Charles Harris is pushing Takk McKinley when that right DN spot. Charles Harris has a really quick get off after the ball is snapped. And I think it's very timely that we talk about Charles Harris today because, hey, he had one of his first interviews as an Atlanta Falcon. He's not a guy that, again, he didn't come with a lot of publicity in the offseason. As a matter of fact, most of our pound for pound ATL fans that are, SEC fans, we saw him in Missouri. I think there was always an expectation that, Charles Harris would come to the league, dominate, and he wouldn't be an Atlanta Falcon. He would stay a Miami Dolphin for 10 plus years, but that hasn't panned out. And today he kind of talked a little bit about why he feels like that's the case. So he said in Miami, they run a lot of two gap, right? So, and he says what he likes mostly about Dan Quinn's system is that they do a lot more one gap, a lot more go, which ultimately plays to his strengths, right? And you have a defensive coordinator who already knows how he plays because he probably played a hand in cherry picking this guy and was like, hey, I can do something with this guy. I'm going to play to his strengths, right? So I think ultimately, and don't get me wrong, Takk he looks good.
Yeah, he looks
he's
great.
Lost 3 pounds. He's ripped. He's saying all the same things. He's hungry, blah, 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 blah. But I think ultimately Charles Harris is another guy that if you underestimate his impact, he may be a guy that gets more snaps on Sunday than we've already discussed. But again, like I said, I'm excited and I'll be interested. He'll be a guy that we'll have to definitely monitor because we'll need Charles Harris at some point this year.
For sure. And one thing I'll say about that is simply that with this cap situation going into next year, Charles Harris, we got him for another year. No, they declined his option. That's they declined his 5th year, but he could be a cheaper re-sign than Takk McKinley. So that's something else that could play into effect as well. If Takk McKinley thinks that he's worth, a good chunk of change, it might be easier and more cost prohibitive to keep Charles Harris next year or in the years beyond, So let's get back in to, let's see. Brian Pierce says, trade Takk, cut Carpenter, cut Brown, and sign Clowney. Who wants that one? Jimmy? You look like you might want that one. You want that one?
I'll take it. Hey, Brian. Look here, Brian P. Look here, Brian P. What's up, baby? Cut it out, man. You better stop, bro. Hey, look. I call Carpenter and Brown the Eminem twins. But you can't cut and do this and cut that and cut this now. You using a lot of cuts there, Brian P. Calm down, baby.
Hey, some people they like to play fantasy with real football. You know what I'm saying?
Brian P.
I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I'm gonna put it to you like this: Clowney doesn't do much for me. if the two teams that he's played on ain't necessarily broke the bank to try to re-sign him, you know,
It's gonna cost you a lot of money.
that's it. You know,
Right.
he's wanting more money than we can free up. That's for sure. All right, guys, we are bumping up on an hour as we tend to do. Time flies when you're having fun. Time flies even more when you're having technical difficulties and your blood pressure goes through the roof. So, but we very much appreciate y'all coming on. The guys there. Now, look, for the folks who haven't called, I'm going to unmute everybody, so hopefully if the echo gets too bad, y'all just let me know. But if y'all haven't called Jimmy and Mike's show on our channel on Saturday, we highly encourage y'all to do that, to catch them in. That they do some real good stuff, got real good opinions. We brought them on for a reason, as we have said from word go, and we ask that y'all just continue to support them like you have. We're going to keep doing these live streams now, on Tuesdays again, like we've been doing. We appreciate everybody who dropped by. Oh, man. Okay, Jordan done brought up a thing. I'm going to have to cut the sign off short here real quick. Brought up Dante Fowler. We didn't even talk about Dante Fowler. Ain't none of us brought up Dante Fowler. He had I heard something today, a little clip of him talking to Dan Quinn, and like they were talking strategy, like pass rush strategy. I ain't hear that at all ever in any sound clip with Vic Beasley or Tack McKinley. So that was refreshing in a sense. I don't know if any of y'all want to speak on that. I'm sure they talked it. I'm sure they did. And maybe it's a calculated PR thing because they done heard what the fans had to say. But that little sound clip today talking about, him, I'm talking about, I'm going to come inside, then I'm going to come outside, and I'm going to do this and that. That brought a smile to my face because that was one of the big criticisms of, of Vic Beasley is that he just didn't seem to have a plan going out there.
That's pretty much what you know what I got out of that clip. I see the same thing, and Tech was standing right there. I got a University of Florida out of you just like this Dan Quinn type of feel out of it, and I love it. Yeah, Toby D, how you feel about it, Toby?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't catch that clip. I wish I had caught that clip. There were so many clips coming out that I was trying to catch before we got on the show. Right. I'm not really worried about Dante Fowler right now, simply because I need to see what he looks like week one. And it's going to be a lot of these guys in the trenches to where you're not going to be able to see too much until they get to week one. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have no preseason, so you're not going to be able to see anything there. We're going to see stuff and hear stuff coming out of camp, but you can't sack Matt Ryan because of the rules in practice. But, they count it as you're getting close to him as a sack if you get up there to Matt Ryan. I need to see what this guy does when he get in week one. And the thing that you were just talking about, JR, with him talking about the strategy. Now, they're not going to show Dante Fowler strategies until you get to week one, even if they're talking about it. You know why? Because you don't want guys to be preparing for that already before the week one comes up. So he's not going to show what he's going to do to the left and right tackle when he plays against them on game day.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right, y'all. Listen, man. I'm going to tell y'all something now. Listen, pound for pound ATL. Rise up, family. This is the second time in the show. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all are so spoiled with pass rushers here in Atlanta. I'm going to tell you, look, we finally get a pass rusher who wants to talk strategy with a coach. And now we're like, oh, Dante Fowler, man. Listen, first of all, we have a pass rusher. We have a pass rusher that wants to rush the quarterback.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But loves football. Yes. Like, always makes weight. Does not, never not shows up for a physical. It's not costing us potentially a 5th round pick next year. Dante Fowler don't cost us nothing but the money we paying him, baby.
That's it.
I think at the end of the day, we gotta appreciate Dante Fowler. We have a dog. We have a Dan Quinn guy. We have a hungry guy. We got really, if you really, for all intensive purposes, outside of Aaron Donald, we got two of the best players from the LA Rams who were a decent team, competitive team, who whooped our butt last year in the Mercedes-Benz Dome as well. So as I'll say, like I said, I like the conversation. I'm glad you brought up the clip because just like Toby D, I didn't see the clip, but I'm sure. Hey, listen, they want a white boy talk about it. He wants to get to the quarterback a second faster. We appreciate it because that ultimately helps out our boys, Darquise Denard,
Right.
Terrell, Rico Allen, KZ.
Oh yeah, it all works in concert.
Like I,
the pass rush, the secondary. You got a stronger secondary, you'll have a better pass rush. You got a good pass rush, you'll have a strong secondary. All this stuff works in concert. That's what I love about football. Football is a sport unlike any other sport. Right. You got to have a whole team to pull it off. You know, you can't just have one superstar and win the whole thing. You got to have a whole team. So, but yes, no, I'm very much there's so many, man. They're still bringing up people in the chat that we ain't talked about. We can keep going, but I'm pretty sure if we go too much longer, our families might tend to hurt us. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute everybody. Hopefully the echoes won't be too bad. But either way, I appreciate you guys coming on with us. People in the chat, I appreciate y'all jumping in chat with us and hanging with us through this technical difficulties. I'm gonna do some research, see if I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong on my end, but we're gonna get better at it. But I appreciate it, guys. Anything y'all in particular y'all want to plug? Our Twitter names are up on the screen. You can follow us there if you ain't followed us yet. Like I said, you can catch Jimmy and Mike on Saturdays as they put out their show each week, and you can come back Tuesdays and check whatever group we got, whether it's all 4 of us, 2 of us, 3 of us, whatever. But we'll be live streaming on Tuesdays, and we appreciate y'all joining us. And as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.